Hey, happy Monday evening. And this is take two. I recorded a 15-minute live on YouTube, and I felt so proud of myself for figuring out how to go live straight to YouTube. And we've had a lovely discussion of this week's astrology. Unfortunately, whatever the settings are for the microphone on YouTube is similar to on Facebook, and it didn't pick up any of my voice. So I'm redoing a communication, very much an experience of Mercury retrograde. So here we go. For some reason, the Zoom microphone settings connect and it works fine. So here we go. This week's energy is very supported in the planets. And so we've got the sun and Mercury are in the sign of Virgo. Mercury's moving retrograde. But the good news is, or the news is, that Mercury will be stationing direct on Friday. And I say that because Mercury retrograde isn't necessarily bad. I think it has a bad reputation. I think many of us get annoyed and frustrated with some of these do-overs and delays that Mercury retrograde is known for. But it's also a really good energy for going inward and reflecting and reviewing what we've been working on, what we've been thinking about over the last few weeks. And so I'd like to invite you to consider, that Mercury retrograde is neither good nor bad. It just is, and it's part of the regular cycle of the planet Mercury. Every year, we get 3 or 4 sometimes periods of Mercury retrograde. And it is a time to slow down a bit, reflect, revise, rest, re-energize ourselves. So that's happening in Virgo. We have support from planets in Taurus, another Earth sign. So in Taurus, we have Jupiter retrograde and the planet Uranus. So Jupiter retrograde has been active for about a week. Just last Monday, it went retrograde. And this energy of Jupiter retrograde, which will be in effect through the end of December, Jupiter retrograde is turning the expansion and growth, the abundance, the beliefs and opportunities that Jupiter represents, and turning it inward, having us develop our inner resources, our inner growth, a much more personal growth energy through the Taurus energy. So what is it that we find beautiful? What is it that we believe about our relationships, our values, our resources, our inner appreciation for being in a body, having our senses, and our ability and capacity to enjoy life. And so asking yourself some of those kinds of questions. How am I growing as a person? How am I expanding my sense of my own worth, my own value, my own appreciation? How am I growing and nourishing that in myself? I think of Taurus as, that really fertile earth that like springtime in the garden, everything is growing rapidly and starting to bloom and be really lush. And that soil can be really dark and rich and full of compost and just really nurturing and nourishing and rich. And with Jupiter there, I'm imagining like within me and all of this life experience that has been had already. It's there as compost really in our lives, right? Everything we've been through is what's the word? It's like it's the material we have to work with, but it's like the ground that new things can grow out of. It's properly like tended to and tilled. And so a Jupiter retrograde can be a time to do some inner work around what's most important, most valuable. What are my inner resources? Like, what of my strengths, capacities, talents, what do I have that I can then share, or that I can then work with and make something else come alive? So those are some good questions to be thinking about over the next few months with Jupiter in retrograde. With Jupiter retrograde in Taurus is talking to the planet Venus, which is still in the sign of Leo. And they're in that 90-degree square aspect, which is galvanizing, strengthening, challenging kind of energy. Two good, sort of good luck planets, Jupiter and Venus, bring goodness to our lives. Venus is what we attract, what we love, how we express beauty and relationship and love and appreciation. In Leo can be very heart-centered, very real and authentic, and can be creative and dramatic. And Venus had her retrograde cycle that ended on the 3rd of September. And Venus is now just starting to move direct. So we might start to feel like some of that review process and processing of our values and what we love. And now we can move forward with expressing that more in our lives through that archetype of Leo. And Venus will be in Leo through October 8th, I believe. So we've got still about another month of Venus in Leo. And today, you might have really felt that energy because the moon is also traveling in Leo, and the moon and Venus met up together this afternoon, just a little while ago. So you might just tap into feeling that emotionally. What was your experience this afternoon? Were you in touch with some good feelings, some of that warmth and light and spark of the Leo energy archetype? The sun, I'm not talking about the sun yet, the moon. The moon and Venus, moon especially, is going to be moved in conversation with Chiron and Aries. And so this is tapping into that healing energy of Chiron and Aries. You might also tap into the woundedness feeling or the insecurity feeling of Chiron and Aries. But know that the moon moving through Leo is helping us feel our authentic self and heal that insecurity of Chiron, which might say, is it okay to be myself? Is it okay to express what I want, what I love? Is it okay to go after what I want or to take action towards what I want? So this is a healing opportunity, again, with the astrology. Venus will come into that same conversation with Chiron and soothe. I think Venus and Chiron in trine like that is a soothing of the wound, but it's also a healing of our ability to express our love in the world, our ability to show what it is we care about, to show appreciation and gratitude and generosity towards ourselves and towards each other. And so these flowing energies, I talked about the sun and Mercury, flowing energy with Jupiter and Taurus, and with Uranus and Taurus, that's the awakening planet of freedom, is also going to be a big player, big in the conversation with the Virgo moon on Thursday. So this week we are finishing up the lunar cycle that began August 16th in Leo, that began, that Leo new moon was with Venus, was with Black Moon Lilith. So it really was a month of looking internally, like what is our experience of our relationships, our appreciation, our creative expression? How do we express authentically from our hearts who we are and what matters to us in whatever style and way of expressing is most real for you? But the Leo energy asks us all to be heart-centered, authentic, and expressed, and to tap into our creativity and our hearts, what really matters to us at our core. So that Leo moon cycle is winding down. The moon is again in Leo, And we're at the balsamic phase of the moon. This is the last few days before a new moon. And it's a time to really tie up loose ends and to release your learning, your accomplishments, the cycle of the Leo new moon. And then on Thursday evening at about 6:40 Pacific time, we'll have the new moon in Virgo. And that new moon is in that easy communication support energy to both Uranus and Taurus. So that awakening to our value, that awakening and embodying our grounded Taurus nature. And that new moon is also in that flowing trine support energy with Pluto in Capricorn, the deep transformation energy, the deep empowerment energy. And it's also an energy that peels away or breaks away the parts or the structures that are not working for us. And so I think this awakening to our value and our embodiment and the peeling away or the blasting off of the old structures that are no longer working to give us a brand new start in the Virgo energy. Now, Virgo is a sign ruled by Mercury. And so this new moon is ruled by our Mercury in Virgo that is retrograde, but that is actually stationing direct on Friday the 15th. So the day after our new moon, Mercury will turn around and be moving in its forward direction. You may notice a release of as much reflection or as much of the slowdowns or necessary redo opportunities like I've had. The new moon ruled by Mercury. A key word for Virgo is discernment. And discernment is not just a literal, rational, linear, intellectual, like deciding something, but it also feels to me like it includes our intuition, our felt sense. So when you're discerning something, it's like, yeah, you're taking in all the facts and the rational linear information, but you're also feeling into it. Does it feel right? Does it have a good vibe? Does it resonate and align with what I want or with what needs to happen? So discerning is a way of processing how can things be in greatest alignment. Virgo really wants wholeness and efficient working environment. So the Virgo questions using discernment are, how can I organize this? How can I improve this? How can I make this situation, my home environment, my physical body, how can I make this work better? How can I bring it into greater health and efficiency? And Virgo energy is constantly looking for that integrity and that wholeness, really bringing something into wholeness. And it's also supported, this new moon, by Neptune across the zodiac in Pisces. So we'll have new moon in Virgo and across the zodiac, Neptune in Pisces, which is the planet that helps us access our intuition and our spirituality, our imaginations and creativity in the sign of Pisces, which is very emotional and unconditionally loving. There's a lot of energy of surrender and acceptance to Pisces energy that helps balance out the particularity and the and Virgo energy can be demanding and critical at times, can be really like that hard driving, critical voice in our heads that expects us to do things perfectly. Well, integrating some of that Neptune and Pisces helps us bring in that acceptance of our humanity, that love and forgiveness for the mistakes that will undoubtedly creep in. Virgo perfection cannot be present all the time in all ways, even though we strive for that. So this new moon on Thursday, I'm going to be offering a conversation with the cosmos on Zoom on Wednesday night at 5:30 Pacific. And in that Zoom call, gather with everyone who's interested. We had a really great conversation last month. But we'll talk more in more detail about the energies of the new moon. I mentioned them here with the planets involved in the aspects to the moon. But we'll really dig into the themes and the questions and the ideas of how can we work with this energy, and especially how can we work with the energy of the universe at the new moon based on some of the key placements in our own charts. And so, um, come even if you don't know your own chart, you do know your sun sign, I'll bet. You'll know if you were born a Leo or an Aries or a Virgo or a Capricorn, right? Or Scorpio, any of them. So come, even if you're not fluent in this language, don't worry. We're going to talk about it and find the practical ways. Virgo loves practical ways of taking small steps to incorporate working with this lunar cycle and with Mercury going direct. Okay. I will post the Zoom link in the Facebook group, and I will be sending out an email with the link to this recording as well, that will have the Zoom link in it. If you are seeing this video on YouTube, please sign up on my mailing list, tiffanddylan.com, and join the Facebook group, Your Stellar Life, and you'll have access to the Zoom links that way, those two ways. Let's see. Those are the big things this week. Overall, this is a very supportive feeling week. The Sun and Jupiter talking smoothly from Virgo to Taurus, Venus and Jupiter working in that more challenging but dynamic tension from Leo to Taurus is an expansive and feel-good energy. So there's a lot of opportunity and good feeling in this week. There's also can be a lot of tiredness because we are dealing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday with the waning balsamic moon. And that's a time where you can feel energetically, emotionally more tired or more drained. And so really invite you to lean into rest, lean into taking really good care of yourself. Virgo energy, where the Sun and Mercury both are. This is bringing awareness to and thinking about, how can I really support my health? How can I optimize how well I am, how well my body is working and operating? And so, as we're dealing maybe with lower emotional energy during the week, do the things you know to support your body in feeling good. Rest, drink water, eat good food, get some good exercise, movement, hug your people, pet your pets, be in the sun a bit, all those things. I know it sounds very basic, but the gift of Virgo energy is those basic building blocks. How do the parts work together? And how can we take the small practical steps to make the whole thing run more smoothly in our lives, really? I think those are the bits I wanted to share with you. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are enjoying this end of summer, starting to feel a little bit like fall. We have the fall equinox coming up on the 23rd when the sun moves into Libra. I'll be talking about that next week. But I can already feel a hint of it in the air. Notice the quality of light. Notice it getting dark a little bit earlier. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the season and the weather and the atmosphere wherever you are. And I hope to see you on the call Wednesday evening where we can have an actual conversation and share our ideas. So it's not just me talking to you on my computer screen. Okay, be well, friends, and keep shining, keep being your authentic, real selves, and share your light and your talents. We all need each other to be truly who we are. Okay, take care.